Hi, Curtis in Seattle. Today we're going to do part one of the Ravelli Francesca deep cleaning. And there'll be other parts as well. I don't know if there's going to be 2 parts or 3 parts, but part one will be the major disassembly and then cleaning of the flue. The pellets have almost run out of the stove, and I wanted to show you what that looks like. I'm going to hold this button down here to keep the stove from shutting down while I'm showing you this, but you're going to need to use a stick, or at least I have to with my stove, to keep moving the pellets over the course of the next hour or so over towards this auger chute right here. So you want to keep the pellets right in this area right here, and then the stove will run out of pellets, and you won't have to suck as many out of your chute when you get ready to clean. All right, I guess it's time to get going on the deep cleaning. It's run out of pellets, and it looks like, what is it, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon already? So I better get going on this. So there's a few pellets in here, but that's because, it just wasn't enough to sustain the burn. So, all right, let's shut this down. Goes into final cleaning. All right, so we're going to start by cleaning out the hopper. And you could take off this screw on the back of the stove, and this one here, and then there's 2 down below, and there's a panel right here that you could pull off and vacuum out the hopper. But I find it's just about as easy to just do everything from the top, and that way you can get a lot of these fines and stuff that are in this area right here that are trapped. You can't really do it by taking off that back cover. All right, it's time to start disassembling the stove. You need to take both side covers off. And there's a bolt right here. Use your 5/16 nut driver. Another bolt right here, and then it'll slip right off. This side is identical, except for we need to remove this cover. There's a bolt right here, and then there's one in the back right here. You just need to loosen this one, and then this cover will slip off. All right, both side covers are off now, and you'll notice I put a rag in there, and that's just insurance that if you drop anything in there, it won't fall all the way to the bottom of the hopper. So this side cover's off, we'll vacuum that off in a minute. I wanted to show you how it attaches at the bottom. This is the inside of the left cover. It has these 2 holes, and those holes, they go over these screws that are in there. See that white donut? There's another one there. It's missing the donut, but it's just basically a felt donut. And I think it just helps it to maybe keep from vibrating. So you have a couple of choices now. There's this silver cover that gets you inside the below the firebox, and you need to vacuum that out. There's one on either side, and you could go ahead and remove those, but the hole is quite small. So what I do is I take off this piece here. There's 2 screws on either side, and there's a larger cover in here, so let's do that. All right, the cover's off, and I wanted to tell you that this is made out of cast iron, so it's pretty heavy, so you're going to want to support that when you take the 2 screws out of those holes. There's the larger cover. We're going to remove that now. I'll take a quick look in here, and you'll see that there's a pile of ash there, and that's the fan in the back there. Down below here, there's those 2 rectangular openings on either side, and that's the gallery that we're going to clean after we remove the fire X from above. This stove has 712 hours on it, so really only has about 1/3 of the ash that you would normally have in here. A lot of times I have piles on that upper ledge there, as well as down below. So I think at this point we should do the weekly cleaning. And if you haven't seen that video, look down in the description. I'll have a link before we start disassembling the flue. Well, I forgot. I've got the whole stove opened up, but let's go ahead and unplug it now and make sure there's no power on, because we're going to be reaching inside the stove here in a minute. We finished with the weekly part of the cleaning. I've cleaned out the ash pan and that cover. I vacuumed that off, and also the fire trap, and then the grate. And the inside of the stove is all cleaned out now. So now it's time to take apart this flue. The flue pipe. The first thing you do is you take off this cap on the bottom, and there's some ash in the bottom. And then I need to remove this tape here, and there's a screw. It's hard to see right there, but there's a screw underneath there that holds this DuraVent brand B-vent onto the elbow. And I need to twist that off, break this connection free so I can move the flue out and then get this piece off so that I can start cleaning the elbow. I got the cap off. Man, that is a fight to get those off of there. You have to twist it. And there's a piece on the elbow there. Actually, it's a T. It fits inside here. And I twist it around so that piece is here so that you can pull the cap off. And it's got a fair amount of ash in it. We'll clean that out. All right, I got the cap cleaned out. And looks pretty good. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the shop vac on and let it pull some of the soot out of the air here as much as possible. And I'll show you how I put a couple of sections up there. We're gonna try to go all the way to the roof cap and hopefully we don't knock it off. All right, we're done cleaning the flue all the way to the roof jack. It took me 6 sections, which is a little under 18 feet. One thing I noticed is I got a little soot on the wall here, so I'm really hoping that I can vacuum that off without having to repaint it. Probably would have been a good idea to put some sort of a drop cloth tape to the wall there. Well, I just removed the high temp flue tape, and you can see where the original tape here left some residue because it wasn't high temp. I also remembered that it was a real pain in the butt to align this screw hole with the elbow. So I'm gonna put a Sharpie mark on here and an alignment mark. And I think I'm gonna do the same thing here so that when I put it all back together, I know where it goes. All right, we got the B-vent off there and also the elbow. And one thing I didn't realize is there was actually 2 screws in it, which you see, the one hole there and the one hole there. So 2 screws in it. This has basically, I think 700 hours in it. So it's got a little bit of a buildup. We'll go ahead and clean that with the flue vent along with this other piece of B-vent here.